Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's Vendor Spotlight webinar featuring Whip Around, sponsored by Protective Insurance. I'm Tom Kim with Rhodes, provider of the platform powering the Protective Insurance marketplace. So poor vehicle maintenance practice is a common pitfall faced by many commercial fleets, which not only adds challenges in properly maintaining a commercial motor vehicle, but also in staying compliant with regulations and keeping up to date with inspection and maintenance reports. More importantly, it will also affect your basic score, as vehicle maintenance is one of 7 factors that the FMCSA uses in the basic scoring system. During this webinar, learn how you can stay on top of your fleet maintenance requirements and improve your basic scores by streamlining the inspection and maintenance process, reliably tracking vehicle defects, and achieving greater compliance. To kick it off, Harry Stork from Protective Insurance will share a few thoughts, followed by a presentation from Nate Marino with Whip Around, one of the industry's easiest to use fleet maintenance platforms. We'll wrap up this session with a quick guide on how to view the Whip Around solution on the Protective Insurance marketplace. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll address all questions at the end of the session. With that, I'll turn it over to Harry.
All right, thanks, Tom. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining today. My name again is Harry Stork. I lead our loss prevention organization at Protective. Our team works directly with our clients in support of their safety and compliance initiatives, and also work with our underwriting team. And we see the vehicle maintenance score is often a challenge for many that we insure. And we're very excited to have Whip Around join as a new vendor on our Protective marketplace, where they have a very strong product that can help address the challenges that fleets have relative to their pre and post trip and DVIR requirements. So with that, Nate, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining. Like Harry said, my name is Nate Marino. I am an account executive over at Whip Around. So I've been there for about 2 years now, working with a lot of fleets in a lot of different industries, primarily actually in the trucking and logistics. I met Harry and Tom, spoke about, really what Whip Around does, how we can help out, how we work with a lot of insurance agencies. So, definitely excited to work with you guys. And kind of like Tom mentioned, any questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A and we'll get to those. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen over here. You'll be able to find us on the Protective Insurance marketplace. I'll let Harry hit on that here towards the end. But just kind of kicking things off into Whip Around. So as far as system goes, as Whip Around, a big thing for us is our ambition is to be the world's best fleet maintenance platform. So we do 2 things. We take care of inspections and maintenance. We don't try to go reinvent the wheel. We stay in our lane and try to do those things really well. So we just continue to try to build, learn, be in the field as far as that system goes. A little bit about us. So what we do, we've developed a software that, big thing that we preach and customers actually give us feedback on is the ease of use. We all know, hey, you got to give something that they'll actually use because there's no data input. It's no good for you guys. And keeping that all in one centralized hub. Why we do it? Keep the fleet moving and the business growing. We all know one overdue oil change and a blown engine can set you back months. A vehicle cost, I think, is just a domino effect. And then how we do it, storing all your data in one central hub. And the big thing is keeping you guys compliant, having control of your fleet, and obviously your drivers staying safe and being productive. A little bit touching into the basic scores, something that we run into a lot, that we hear from a lot of customers, and really that's out there in the industry of, what affects it and what's happening out there is poor asset maintenance, whether it's overdue maintenance, neglected issues, poor communication, a non-compliance. So, maybe driving out on the road without a tail light and then receiving a fine for that and your score being affected, not keeping up to date on inspection records, and just lack of maintenance. And this beautiful, huge stack of papers here. This is something here that we've got our 4 pillars. So we call it our Whip Around promise. Essentially, anytime a customer comes on board with us, we're not just a software that, hey, you guys buy and you use and just go on. We work with you guys, and we've essentially broken it down to these pillars and a process to help you guys lower your scores. And, what we like to say is become a fleet champion. So, with all the fleets we worked on, we broke them down into these categories as far as, what issues you're running into and how we can help you out. So essentially our goal working with you guys is to get you to this last part here of being a fleet champion. Part of how we do that is, two things that we're really known for are our ease of use and then our support and onboarding. So we have a full team that anytime a customer comes on board, you go through a onboarding and implementation. So we, take care of inputting all your data, getting you guys set up. You'll have training, you'll have initial and ongoing training, support. You're going to have an assigned account manager. So just going through that process to make sure that you have all the tools that you all need in place so that you can have a safe, compliant fleet out on the road. This slide just kind of goes over some of the customers that, we have. Some of you guys might know the names. We do work with a lot of FedEx line haul contractors as well, pods, and then down here, some of our partners. So we do have some GPS integrations. So we do have integrations with Samsara, Motive, Geotab, and Verizon Connect. And then highest rated in the marketplace. So a big thing for us is, hey, just letting the customer speak for it, or rather than me just putting on this sales pitch. You'll see on there the two things I mentioned before, the ease of use and the UI, making sure, hey, that these guys are actually using the system and they like what they have in front of them. And here's my information as well. I can share it here at the end. I'm sure Tom and Harry will send it out as well. But that's just a brief overview of, hey, where Whip Round came about, how we do it. And from here, I'll actually dive into the system and show you how we can help out fleets such as yours out on the road. So let me do this here. So Whip Around, as far as the system goes, where we kind of came from, how it was developed way back, which I'm sure all you're familiar with when the ELD mandate came out. All these companies developed this, nice, robust, great ELD system, and DVIRs and maintenance were just an afterthought. It was more so, let's add that in just so the boxes can be checked. Fast forward a few years, ELD gets under control. Now DOT's really honing in on CSA scores, maintenance. We all know that with the fines, and we all know vehicles and everything is so expensive nowadays. So this is why Whip Round came about. There was a huge problem in the industry, whether it was paperwork or systems that, hey, the guys could just sit in the trucks. So Whip Round was developed to make sure that, hey, you guys have full visibility, control, and compliance and safe vehicles out on the road. From here, I'll go ahead and dive into the system. So when we come into Whip Round, way I primarily like to describe it is I divide it into two pieces. I have the inspection side and the maintenance side of things. So on the inspection side, that's when we're talking about all of our pre-trips and post-trips. What we would do is we would build out forms. How we get there is we'll click forms, and this brings you to your personal forms library. So in here, this is empty when any customer starts up, but that we can build out as many forms as you need. So if we need to do truck forms, if we need to do trailer forms, if you have a warehouse and we need to do forklifts, another big thing that customers use is building out a digital accident form instead of filling out that paperwork. I mean, heck, we even have customers that do portal potty inspection. So really, whatever you want to develop, you can do here. We do have a template library where if I click view all forms, Whip Around already has pre-built templates from pre-trips to post-trips, truck and trailer forms in here for you all to grab that are DOT compliant. You can click use template. We do have them in Spanish as well. Or you have the ability to create forms from scratch. Now, what's important here is that you have the ability to fully customize it. So we're going to be able to put this together exactly how you want your drivers and operators to check the fleet. And I'll show you what one of these forms look like. So anytime you come into a form, you have cards. Every form is made up of individual cards. This is where we put together, hey, this is exactly what I need my guys checking. And you've got different card types that you can input in there. So a single check, that's your industry standard pass fail. Hey, is this working? Yes or no. We give you the ability to do other questions as well. Multi-check to group things together, multiple choice for, hey, fuel level, fluid level, tire tread depth. We've got the ability to capture mileage and engine hours at the time of that inspection. If you have a telematics provider, such as the four I mentioned before, we can pull that data in real time and link your vehicles into Whip Around. Got data entry, which will let your drivers answer that question with letters and numbers. We've got your signature card here. So this is obviously the most important one. Our system is 100% DOT compliant. We give you the ability to have the 3 signatures within the system. You'll see I've got the compliance settings down here that require that driver to sign off on the previous inspection and that mechanic signature on a defect. So that you have all that communication, making sure that, hey, this issue was taken care of. We can send this vehicle out on the road. And then we have a photo card. So this is the one that most customers tend to gravitate to when they're building out forms. And you get 2 options with this. One is an optional photo card, and this goes more down the lane of driver accountability, where a lot of customers will say, hey, if you see any damage, take a picture. If not, push skip. So with this, hey, if John takes out the vehicle in the morning and he puts a dent on it and he doesn't document anything, and then, hey, Nate walks up to the vehicle and sees that before he goes out for his day, this is more so along the lines of, instead of me texting, wasting time, or, hey, just deciding to go out with it, I now have somewhere I can document this photo. The first person we're going to speak with is John about that issue. So you have visibility over your drivers and coaching aspect there. Then you have a mandatory photo card. So for those that deal with the term, hey, pencil whipping, I heard the term gun decking as well, where drivers, we all know, so they just sit in the truck, check boxes, and they drive along. Next thing you know, they're getting pulled over because the tail light is out. Or, hey, a trailer is disconnected. This is going to ensure that they check those items. So with the mandatory photo card, they're not going to be able to skip the question, complete the inspection. They are forced to take that photo. And you can input as many of these as you want. So whether it's, hey, what we call it a BLT sandwich, the 3 most popular fines that we see that affects DSA scores are brakes, lights, tires. You guys are dealing with issues of that, have them take a picture of the headlights, the tail lights, the tires. A company called EK Services, they had blown 2 engines in half a year. And that's where they kind of found Whip Round. They said, hey, we need these guys to check the oil on the dipstick. They had them take pictures of the oil on the dipstick. They haven't blown an engine since they've been with Whip Round. So just some of the different use cases where, hey, whatever issues or, what guys aren't checking and what kind of fines you're dealing with, you have a proactive tool that you can use here to make sure that they're actually checking those before they go out on the road. So from here, now that we built out these forms, all that we would go down here, assign them to the assets, and you guys are rocking and rolling. Now, from the driver standpoint, now that we have these forms built out, the drivers are going to be doing these inspections right from their mobile app. So from here, it's going to go on phone or tablet. So on here, you see my iPhone. It goes on Android or Apple. All that they ever have to do is hit the Whip Around app, and it's going to pull up their list of assets. So instead of them, hey, scrolling through or whatever it may be, they're just going to go down here, choose that asset, and it's going to bring them to the forms library. So in here, you can have as many forms as you need. This is where I was touching base on, hey, if you want to have a pre-trip, a post-trip, do something like an accident form where instead of them filling out paperwork or, hey, missing some bits of information, we can build out a digital accident form. I'll choose this form here just to kind of walk you through the steps as a driver. Now, for DOT compliance, this is the first signature that they're looking for. And as a driver, so I know, hey, what happened with this vehicle last? It's going to require them to review the last inspection. So here, I can see the last inspection that was done. I can see any failed issues, past issues. I can see that this was corrected so that I know I've got a safe, operable vehicle to go out on the road. So I just go down here, hit sign to proceed. Here's that first signature DOT is looking for, hit confirm, and we're off to the races. And I'll run you through some of the different card types here. The first card that you see here, question, is a mileage card. For them to ever get mileage, they hit the camera button, take a picture of that odometer. And we have something called our OCR feature. It just captures that, eliminating any user error. Next one's a multi-check. On these inspection sheets, real simple for them, green check mark signal a pass, a red X to fail or a defect. Now, if they do ever need to fail an issue, what they're going to do is hit the red X. We've heard a lot in the industry where, hey, these drivers will report an issue, but they have no idea what they're going to do. Whip Around's going to prompt them to take a photo of that. They even have a marker up here to annotate it if they need to. And they can take additional photos with this plus sign as well, just capturing all that information. We'll go ahead and put a comment. We're putting that defect in and getting our shop all that information that they need. Single check, optional photo card, and here's the mandatory photo card. So with this, you'll see that the OK is grayed out. They're forced to take that photo. And this is where I like to point out as well, we're talking about giving the drivers something easy to use. The order that you put the questions in is the order they have to follow. So right here, I've got to take a picture of the headlights. Now, the big key everyone always asks is, can they pull a photo from their library? The answer is no. These photos always have to be done in real time during the inspection so that this person got out of the truck and checked the headlights during that inspection. We'll go ahead and sign off. Hit submit. And as far as the drivers and the operators go, that is all that they have to do on their end. Keep it really simple for them. And what you see here is they're going to have their previous inspections on their device. So if they were to ever get pulled over, they will have that data to show the officer. So, hey, they're staying compliant with them as far as keeping those records in the vehicle. Now back to the back office. So everything that you all do within the system is stored for the lifetime that you're with us. We run on AWS Cloud. So as far as safe data, keeping clean, you guys are good to go. Inspection history. Every form that's submitted is all stored in here. You can just choose your time frame you need to see. You can export them. You can come into documents individually. And just to show you some of the data, hey, you'll know when it was done, how long it took, who did the inspection, what asset. You've got the photos they took. So if there's ever any issues with documented damage, and then there's also a GPS stamp. Now, going from this inspection to your office. So within the system, you're going to set up different uses and permissions. So you guys can say, hey, my shop and my team needs to be notified every time that inspection is submitted with a defect. We've heard a lot of issues of, hey, that never really makes it to where it needs to go. There's he said, she said, next thing you know, they just go out on the road with that same vehicle. So what we're going to be able to do is set it up so your team gets notified in real time about that inspection, and you can have an email sent to them. You can have a push notification sent to them. And in this system, that's going to be right in our defect tab. So I like to call this like a task list for your management and for your shop. So in here, I can see any issues the drivers have reported. And to manage it, we'll click these two arrows and you got all the information they've reported. So you got the photo they took, the message they sent. For that communication aspect, you can mark it as in progress. You can mark it out as service, just keeping everybody in the loop. Once this defect has been corrected, all that you're going to do is click mark it as corrected. You can have a signature saved here just to, hey, make your life easier. For that third signature, signing off on that defect for 39611, hit confirm. And just like that, you guys are now good to go. Everybody's kept in the loop about that defect. And when I go back to my task list, you'll see that that has been now cleared out. Now getting into overdue maintenance. So we have the ability to do service programs. You can set up as many of these as you need. Obviously, hey, trucks and then trailers all have different types of PM needs. To build one out, we'll go to create service program and walk right through the steps. So you can put a title, you can put a service task list to tell your team, hey, this is what needs to be serviced when this comes due. You can build out your intervals based on what that PM needs to be notified about. We'll put our assets in here and when they were last serviced so that when you come on board with Whip Around, it's starting off accurately. And then who needs to be notified. So you can have your whole team notified about this PM rather than checking the sticker, texting, calling. And then we have something called threshold. So this is a great proactive tool to make sure that you don't run into that overdue maintenance issues. What you can do with a threshold is, let's just say, hey, we build out a 25,000 mile interval. If I come down here and I set 1,000 mile threshold, what that's going to do is alert my team 1,000 miles ahead so that we're not running around at 25,000 miles. We can put this at 24, schedule it out accordingly so we're not going overdue on this maintenance. We can work with our team. We'll click save. You now have a reoccurring service program reminder, so you don't have to worry about overdue maintenance, missed maintenance, any of those issues again, because we're either A, pulling it in from one of our telematic integrations, or B, from that mileage card that the driver is capturing on the inspection. When you input all those, you'll have a service schedule. So you'll have oversight on, hey, what's going on with my maintenance? And this is the one thing I always like to point out to customers, I can see how much longer to go. Maintenance records, got to have those on hand. So what we'll allow you to do is keep track of all that. On here, you'll see a pending and completed list. If I come into a work order, let's just pick this one, for example. You can keep track of all that information. So you'll have, hey, what actually happened? How much it cost? Do we need to upload photos, invoices, attach them to this work order? You've got your local tax here for your own purposes as far as keeping track of cost. We're keeping track of all that maintenance work. We can hit complete. and now you're keeping track of all your costs associated. So obviously a big thing with keeping up with those basic scores and maintaining these records is having those in one central place. So not only will you have them in those general inboxes, but when I click into an assets tab, every one of your assets are going to have their own digital asset file. So for if I need anything for, let's just pick this first truck, 1346, anything in the system you do is all stored in here. So if I click this first truck, you're going to have the mileage, engine hours, inspections, defects, work orders. You can see how much money you've spent on this. Now, if DOT comes in and says, I need the past 90 days of inspections for this truck, we'll simply click over to inspections, click past 90 days, hit actions, and we can export that hard copy right over to them. You'll have all the defect history, making sure that, hey, there's no current issues on this vehicle, corrected issues. You'll have all the services completed history in here as well. The work order history, all stored in a per asset basis, all that in that asset file. Then I'll jump into something now that we have. It's called our WhipAround wallet. So we've taken care of the inspection piece. We've taken care of the maintenance. Now just kind of further going down that compliance aspect, we have our WhipAround wallet. What this is going to allow you to do is give you access to not only stay on top of your documents for your drivers and your assets, but make sure that, hey, your drivers actually have those at their fingertips when they're out on the road. So you can come into each asset and each driver and upload and store documents and set expiration dates. So for example, in this truck, I have this registration. We give you the ability to say, when does this expire? When you want to be notified about it expiring, and you can give your drivers access to this out on the road. So you can upload and store these for every one of your drivers and every one of your assets. So not only are you staying on top of the expiration, so you don't have a vehicle going out on the road that's overdue on their, in registration or insurance, but as a driver, what I now have the ability to do is I have two types of wallets. I have my driver wallet, and then I have my asset wallet. So for my personal wallet, which no other drivers can access, I hit profile and wallet, slide over to wallet, and my personal documents will be in here for me to access at any point. Or if I get into a truck, and what we see a lot is with really any company that has drivers, moving vehicles, they run into a lot of documents being misplaced. So if that does happen, we'll click assets, we'll choose that asset and slide over to wallet, and they can access those documents at any point now out on the road. I now have my registration ready. And the last thing I'll run you through is a dashboard. So, hey, we've got all the tools set up for your drivers to make sure they're doing thorough compliant inspections, your shop to stay on top of all those maintenance alerts. Now we need an admin standpoint to have just some oversight so we don't, hey, dig through all this data. So the dashboard is going to be your point for that. It's your bird's eye view. You can sort how you view the dashboard. So, big thing obviously is, hey, not finding out a week later or maybe even at the end of the day about an inspection being completed. If I look at a today view and I have 50 vehicles out on the road, I should see 50 inspections here. I can see, hey, how my team's doing with time, defects reported. I've got some visibility over my maintenance to make sure that, hey, we don't have any open defects. We don't have any open work orders. We're staying on top of my fleet. We'll give you some visibility over out of service assets. You can check on your shop on what's going on for the week, for the following week. And then if I scroll to the bottom, you'll actually be able to see who's done their inspection today and what assets have been inspected today. So just a good 30,000 foot view of your fleet right from the dashboard. And that's, hey, that's WhipAround of how we, give you all a tool to make sure that your drivers are actually getting out of the vehicles, checking what's important on those vehicles, doing their pre-trips, giving you a proactive tool for maintenance to stay on top of those alerts, even more so ahead so that you guys aren't going overdue, and just having full oversight and keeping all your data within one system with WhipAround. So I will hand this back over to, I believe it is Tom.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Nate, for that. A very insightful presentation. Let me just take over the screen share here.
Yeah.
So I'd like to take a moment now just to give everyone a quick tour of the Protective Insurance Marketplace. I'm going to put the URL in the chat window. So if you look here, our newly improved design gives users an enhanced experience when browsing for the right safety and risk management solutions. At the top here, you can use the search feature or the solution recommender, which is a quick and easy way to get tailored solutions based on your business needs. You can even call or book a meeting with us where you can speak with one of our experts in the commercial fleet space. Also highlighted are limited time offers from our marketplace vendors. Here you can see Whip Around has a free 7-day trial as well as a 35% off with an annual subscription for protective policyholders. Down below, you can browse by categories to find relevant solutions and also see featured solutions. In our resources section under videos, you can see past webinars that we've held, and also we'll be posting a copy of today's webinar recording here. Now, to get to the Whip Around solution, you can click on categories and go to the maintenance and diagnostics category. Here, you'll see the Whip Around solution card. Clicking on that will open up the full solution listing. In the solution listing, you'll see a quick overview, base package pricing, promotional offerings, as mentioned earlier, a who it's for section, a long description with more details on the solution, features and benefit, media carousel featuring videos and highlights, a features and benefits section, a resources section that includes additional brochures, data sheets, and other informative collateral, and an about us section to learn more about Whip Around. To speak with the Whip Around team, you can click on the request info button or click the free trial button to connect with their team and start a free 7-day free trial. So there it is, a one-stop shop to find safety and risk management solutions to solve your fleet needs. So now at this point, we'll open it up for Q&A. So let's see the first question. So Nate, these will be for you. And I believe you already spoke on this, but just to reiterate, the first question, does your fleet maintenance platform integrate with telematics devices?
Oh, I was on mute there. Yes, we do. We have our integrations with Verizon Connect, Geotab, Motive, and Samsara. And then we have some coming on the roadmap as well. I know that one we're working on with Roads is GPS Track It. But currently, those are the 4 that we do integrate with.
Great. Let's see. Next question. How long does it normally take to implement the fleet maintenance software so I can start using it on a daily basis?
Yeah, great question. So what's nice about this being cloud-based is it's actually rather quickly. Some of our best customers are up and running within 1 to 2 weeks. It's really just a matter of kind of walking you all through the path. You know, hey, anytime a customer comes on board, we have them send us their asset and driver list. We take care of the uploading for them. If you have a telematics provider, we can link your vehicles right over, and then we schedule you with our implementation manager. So the turnaround is rather quick to get you all up and running.
Great. Let's see. Next question. I keep my current maintenance records on an Excel spreadsheet. Is there any easy way to upload the records into your platform?
Yeah. So we currently do not have a bulk upload feature, but as far as getting existing records in there, part of that onboarding, initially ongoing support, we will assist with getting existing records uploaded into the platform.
Okay, that's great. Next question. What do I get with the 7-day free trial?
Yeah, with the 7-day free trial, you'll have full access to the platform, full access to the inspection side, the maintenance side, the wallet part. You can add as many vehicles and drivers as you'd like. Also, being that you all are coming from this webinar, you'll actually have support from my implementation manager, Billy, and myself as well. So we'll treat you all like a customer to make sure that you get the most out of that free trial as you need to make a well-informed decision.
All right, that's great. Let's see, we'll do one more question. Does your system work offline?
It does. So there is an offline mode. Big with, hey, obviously being in the middle of nowhere sometimes. How it works is the drivers can perform their inspection in offline mode. They are able to submit that inspection. The moment they are in service, that will push through. And with DOT, it will want them to show when that was completed and when it was pushed through. That is part of that regulation to make sure, hey, what time it was completed. And on that stamp that I showed on the inspection history, you'll have a date completed and time completed and date received and time received. So that will be stamped as far as when they completed it offline.
All right, well, thanks Nate for answering those questions. So that's all the time that we have today. Thank you again for everybody joining today. Please visit the Protective Insurance Marketplace to look at the Whip Around Fleet Maintenance Solution and other solutions that can solve your safety and risk management needs. Big thanks to Harry for sponsoring today's webinar, and thank you Nate for presenting the Whip Around solution. And thank you everyone for joining us today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. Thanks again.
Thank you.